Yo, hey, it's your boys, it's Anime Parley. Got the full crew hanging out. We are talking about One Piece chapter 1159. We got some thoughts, but I'll let the rest of the crew introduce themselves and we'll just jump right in.
Yeah, what up, y'all? Peace and blessings. It's your boy, Mr. Wild and Free. I'm chilling today. I'm not walking.
Oh, dude, that's a first for me. Yo, what up? It's Moogie Mike. Ready to get into it?
Hey yo, you know what time it is? It's your boy Bash Ketchum. Let's go.
Okay. All right, yo, so what is there really to say? I mean, obviously there's a lot of lore drops and such. I guess I'll just start off by saying this, like, how does everybody feel about where we're at in the story and basically this flashback? I know that everybody is probably like, man, this thing just keeps going on and on and on, which it does and is. And it's almost kind of becoming like an arc in itself, right? Like within the arc, it's pretty long. But what are you guys' thoughts on the flashback? Do you feel like it's too much too soon? Is it useful information? Is it like, dang, we've been waiting for this? What is everybody's kind of like thoughts on this?
Yeah, great questions. It's funny how a lot of the things that I was talking about during our last chapter review have come to pass in some way. But also like in the reflection of like even still, I'm like, okay, this is great, but also I'm still tired of the flashback.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it like.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy what I'm seeing. Don't get me wrong, but it just and most especially with what we've been seeing in this chapter for this week, it just feels like this would have been very nicely tidied up as like a miniature arc, like a bridge arc between Egghead and Elbaf. And I stand by that. Like I mean there's just the context coming from the whole, Kuma backstory into what we're seeing now. It just feels like the continuity there would have really helped it make more sense. And so yeah, like I would have really loved to just see like a God Valley arc that was just pure flashback, and it would have just felt more pertinent to me. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love what I'm seeing. I think it's really exciting, and at the same time, I'm just like, yeah. Can we get back to Emu versus Luffy, please? Like, you kind
Mm-hmm.
of set that up a little too well for me. I can't let it go.
Yeah. What about anybody else? Because I'm about to
I'm
fucking go in.
yeah, no, I'm really liking who is in this flashback. I still just want to be present in Elbaf, but it's really awesome to see who is in this flashback, where it's going. I don't exactly know what this like. Some of the story has changed for me with how this is going with God Valley and how much importance is just coming up to this point. We already knew it was going to be very important, but they just keep introducing new characters on here and adding like little twists around this island. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I'm totally in on going back to Elbath like now.
Yeah,
Y-
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Bash, what about you?
Uh, uh, I'm just tired of the force feeding of Shocky, like we all are.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Like he's just kind of like throwing it down our throat at this point. I thought it
Pause.
was cool to see the young revolutionaries. Dragon's young character seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he's
Other than
dead.
that, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure what the significance is of the Davies back. I mean, I'm sure we'll get some more info regarding that, but other than that, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first off, let's just start with this. I used to like Yamato as a character. Once upon a time, I was like
Oh,
Yamato for
this is where we're going.
swag. Oh, we gotta start from the top. We gotta start from the top.
This is what we're
I
doing.
I used to think Yamato was like really cool, had an interesting character design. Could have a very interesting character arc. Was already kind of built in with like really interesting power, very strong. I mean, I think people forget like Yamato has like Conqueror's Haki, like potentially advanced Conqueror's Haki, but let's just say Conqueror's Haki. That's like pretty incredible. It's a pretty rare thing in One Piece. And I, through this cover story, have gotten so sick of Yamato. I don't even know if I like her anymore. I'm just like, dude, she like this is so boring. Nothing is happening. I feel like I'm looking at the exact same panel, and I might do this. It's a annoying like bitch to basically to do in the editing process, but I literally might take like the last 6 to like 8 cover panels, like cover stories, and just put them up so you can see like just how little actually changes in them. In terms of the art, it is so boring. We're getting random stuff like the Kazuki Moria thing, which is also really annoying and kind of like, why even introduce that? And then you have idiots, and I'm going to call them idiots, making fan theories over it, fan fiction, I would say. But okay, actually, getting into the actual chapter itself. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's lore, right? The whole entire point of the flashback is to let us see what the past looked like, because we don't normally obviously get that. Seeing Dragon was cool. I completely agree with you, Bash. Like, I think I've had enough of the Shocky glazing. It's like, I understand that everybody loves her. I understand she has like a pretty somewhat unique character design, but we've seen this before with Boa Hancock, so it's really not that crazy. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just like the world and the economy crashing to a halt, which is literally what they say in the chapter, because Shocky's kidnapped, right? I mean, the implications of that are a little strange. So how is basically Garling able to infiltrate and to kidnap one of the most popular, like sought after, stared at people in basically all of Hachinosu? I mean, we can assume it was an Abyss Circle, but then that adds another layer.
I think it was an internal betrayal of one of the pirates. I think it's.
I mean, that's possible.
Nice theory.
That's possible. But it's just like, it's kind of this just grab bag of like, I'll say it like this. You can kind of tell Oda's kind of making it up as he goes along, because Shocky is never mentioned at all when we get the flashback to God's Valley in the Kuma flashback. It like, no one says anything about it at all. You know what I'm saying? And then specifically, since this is like, we end up turning this, and again, this is supposed to be about Loki, by the way, this entire flashback. It's really,
exactly.
It's really important to kind of like continue to like hit that drumbeat. We have gotten almost no information on Loki in this entire flashback. We just forgot about him. He's just there.
Yeah.
Like,
other than his eyes.
Yeah, and like his dad, right? And his dad meets up with Rox basically just to do an exposition dump where we learn that Rox's real name isn't Rox, it's actually Davy, right? Like his surname.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a tie to Davy Jones. That was this like legendary figure, but we have no idea who they are. And I'm kind of in my head like, I mean, clearly Rox is a member of the D clan, right? And I guess the implication is that Davy might be different than the D clan, that it's its own special kind of lineage, which at that point I have to ask the question of like, why are we introducing another legendary lineage again? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this again?
I mean, I saw it coming, so don't get me wrong. There have been implications throughout the series that there's something special or unique about Blackbeard and his lineage, like his bloodline. It was something that we knew for sure wasn't a Buccaneer because there was that distinction between Kuma and Blackbeard. But, you know, if I'm being real, the Davy thing kind of feels from out of left field. Like, I mean, I'm not mad at it, but also it's a peculiar thing. Like, I'm still just trying to wrestle with the implications of the Teach or the Blackbeard lineage being Davy, and then it makes sense as to why we saw the way Rox was acquiring his crew was through Davy back fights. So I think that there's this aspect of not just lineage but heritage and cultural practice that might be kind of permeating through the lineage. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but we knew that there was a specific lineage that Blackbeard belonged to. Now we know. Now we have that insight. The Davy reveal just feels like it needs some time to be ingested.
But we don't have any concept of what that actually means. We have a last name. We have a connection to a legendary figure, but we don't know if it's a different race. We don't know if there's like special abilities that come with that. We don't even know who Davy Jones was, right? So, exactly. I mean, now we're kind of setting up like, are we going to get another flashback with Davy Jones? This is one of those things where I'm like, why are we continuing to go deeper into the dream? You get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
That's the thing that's annoying to me. It's like, why even establish, no, he's not just a D member, like talking about Rocks. He's not just a D member. Let me tell you a secret. I haven't even told my crew this. My real name is Davey. It's like, dude, why? Why are we doing this? Like, why are
that was kind of lame.
I think
Like-
the reason, like, this is the way I'm perceiving it. You guys can see me fine, right? It says my network is struggling.
Yeah. Just keep going.
yeah.
I can see.
The way I'm perceiving this is Davy Jones was a very, very famous pirate or even pre-pirate of the world during a certain time when like he caused a lot of chaos or something along the same route as Goldie Roger. And when Roger finished his level at the Pirate King, like, people hunted down his lineage. They hunted down Ace. Like, Davy Jones was one of the more prolific names that we know of besides Joy Boy, and he is probably the only family that actually does have a lineage we can follow that's famous. Like, Joy Boy wasn't a monkey, like either was like Fig Garland. They weren't like legendary to this past. Like, Davy Jones, as far as we know, is the most legendary name that goes back to this past, and the world government is hunting them, so they found out where they're hiding and on what island they're hiding on, and that's why one of the main reasons they picked this island to be cold.
I mean, I get you on that, but I guess like
That's how I'm
other
perceiving
than
it. I don't think they're
'cause,
like a different race
like,
or something.
yeah,
like
but here's what I'm getting at. It's like, and I do this a lot, but I'm going to do it again. It feels like the end of Naruto. It feels like basically the reveal that Naruto and Sasuke, in this case Luffy and Blackbeard, are actually like descendants of like Hagiromo, who was like the original Senju child of, Kaguya, whatever, right?
Right.
And
You
it's
are a
like,
child of God.
right, where it's like, okay, so I'm going to just throw this out there, and I feel like it's a pretty easy one if I'm right, which is that, let me guess, Davy Jones and Joy Boy, when we do get a flashback, we're going to see Joy Boy wearing the straw hat, and, Davy Jones is going to look like Roxy's back or Blackbeard or whatever. Like, why are we doing this? Like, I understand that the series is about like inherited will, and I'm with you on that for like maybe a generation or two. But when we start going like way up the family like tree to like the proto, like Joy Boy's the first pirate, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for Davy Jones? What is he, like the first? I don't know, like Marine? I don't know, whatever. But like, you get the point that I'm trying to make. It's like,
yeah. No, there's definitely a correlation between
why are we setting this up where it's like there's this like deep 1,000-year millennial like lineage to these characters. Even in Naruto, what it did was it kind of robbed the agency away from, in this case, Naruto, right? So like when I'm thinking about Luffy, when I'm thinking about Blackbeard, and we'll talk about this probably longer in a different video. These kind of revelations do affect the present day. I mean, it just ultimately does when you have a series that's, tying these kind of family inherited will, right? So, like, in this particular case, now we're looking at Blackbeard as a sympathetic figure, right? Because he has been persecuted because of his lineage, right? His father looks like he's about to die, like, tragically, right? Like, trying to save his family, right? So that recolors effectively everything that we've seen up until the series so far, and I don't really know why Oda's doing that, but it does kind of make it a little bit harder. I mean, you still might get the ending fight with Blackbeard and Luffy just because their differences are reconcilable, but it is one of those kind of things where it does seem like everybody who's related to the world government is completely irredeemable. Like, Garling is stabbing and killing the mother of his kids. Like, just not even thinking about it. He's stealing Shaki. Like, we all know God's Valley, he's like killing people before the game even starts. So all of them are kind of portrayed to be like the ultimate evil, completely irredeemable. And like before, we had like the juxtaposition
like
between
barely
Luffy.
human.
Yeah, before that we had the juxtaposition between Luffy and Blackbeard, and now it's just like Blackbeard's looking like spring daisies compared to Emu and the world government and the celestial dragons. Is like. Which, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird to me because I feel like if you go back and watch like the first half of One Piece, it's like clearly this like Joker and like Batman level confrontation is being set up. So I don't really know how I feel about undercutting it in the way that it currently is.
that was kind of like what the next question I kind of brought up for our next episode was going to be on. And I
Yeah.
think after this episode, you
Valid.
can like
Fair.
definitely see where I was going with that. Like,
Yeah, we'll talk about it more in the next video for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I'll
we
try
can
to
kind
save
of
my thoughts
keep
for
it
that
light
one,
here,
too.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot to unpack there for sure. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is like I did enjoy seeing Dragon, and like we all knew that he was a former Marine. It's cool to see it in context and to understand that moment, that breaking moment, and the fact that it, coincides with the massacre at God Valley just makes sense, right? Like
I think we
I mean
all had
it's
an idea that it probably
yeah.
shook him a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But to be fair, I I might have been like I was wrong in presuming that it happened before God Valley. Like in my mind, the point when Dragon turned away from the Marines, in my mind it would have happened before Valley. And I'm speaking about that from the frame of reference of Kuma's backstory and how we saw, Bon not Bon Clay, but freaking Ivankov and Guinea. Uh, at that point, I thought, okay, maybe Dragon is somewhere else in the world, kind of starting that journey. But hey, maybe it apparently happened simultaneously. I think most especially is the fact that he was the one that found Blackbeard. And so I think that there's going to be some really intriguing character dynamics or not even dynamics, but just the way that the relationships start to unfold. And like seeing that scene, it really made me think of like the butterfly effect, right? Where it's like a butterfly on one side of the world flaps its wings, and then somewhere else in the world, a tornado happens because of it. And it's like this kind of eerie moment of like, if Dragon never became this kind of person that he is, like if he never deterred from the ruling of the Marines, he probably would have like either killed Blackbeard right then and there, or would have allowed him to die. And I feel like
Sure.
Dragon's presence right there is the sole reason as to why Blackbeard lives. And so we're likely going to see something like that within this, next upcoming chapter. Hopefully it's the next one. Hopefully it doesn't get drug out too much longer. But, I
Yeah.
definitely thought that was a really interesting plot point and a good touch by Oda. And so again, it's not that this chapter was bad. There was some incredible lore. It's just also like time and place and like wanting to get back to the real heart of what's currently happening.
Well, I mean, it's
It's
just
pretty deep.
yeah. I mean, it's just so
But, I mean-
disconnected from the current like focal point of the flashback, which is Loki.
Do any of you guys get like during these flashbacks a little confused about the timeline like I do? Like obviously it's leading up to like the God Valley incident. I guess we're gonna see what exactly goes down that day. But the flashbacks are kind of just confusing me as far as the timeline goes.
Yeah,
But I mean, Killer Cam did call that we might get something crazy that happens to Rocks on God Valley, which will kind of sparks the initiative of Blackbeard and why he does what he does current day. But I think it's setting up for something like that to happen.
Mhm.
And yeah, I really like your last take, Wild and Free, about how deep you went with the butterfly effect. That was pretty cool.
Well, there's one thing specifically to call out as well, which is like Blackbeard's dying mother in like the last page says specifically them and kids. So I mean, if we're introducing Blackbeard's quote unquote sisters, which I assume that we are, this is going to be that moment, and we're going to figure out what happens to them, and we're going to figure out what happens to Blackbeard. If it's not maybe just racial, if it's like something that happens to him on God's Valley that allows him to hold or to possess more than one devil fruit. I feel like that's the reveal of what Blackbeard is going to happen. I feel like in this flashback, and I think it is maybe going to be related to his sisters. I don't know. But
Was it confirmed that he has sisters?
in an SBS, they asked, and then this is why I really just not like kind of messing with Oda like that right now. But like in an SBS, they asked about basically like what would the like, what would Blackbeard look like if he had siblings or something like that? And Oda drew 2 sisters. Right, now that doesn't necessarily mean that that's canon. It just means that Oda has something to pull from if he wants to use that, which he often does.
Fair.
So if we see sisters in the next chapter, it'll be him basically doing a callback to that answer and then bringing them into the story. So
The way,
Yeah.
wait, can we clarify something that I'm a little bit confused about? I need
Sure.
to
Yeah, yeah.
definitely reread this chapter, but that woman that would, like, when Dragon came up to her who was injured was the woman that Garling stabbed, that was the mother of Shamrock and Shanks.
no, that's
No?
no. That is Blackbeard's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was, are you sure that was not
Yeah. Like
not Shamrock and Shanks' mom?
No,
Yeah,
because
no,
keep in
for
mind,
sure,
this is
because-
this is like in the future, right? So like she gets stabbed, some time happens, and then they hold this,
Oh, and then
kind of
that
tournament.
woman is okay, yeah, and that's Black.
It's implied that that's his mom because
I guess I am
she's-
a little messed up on
Yeah.
the timeline there, Bash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more specifically in the scene, like
Yeah, I got
the
it.
Jesus'
mother is
name.
there
That was
directly
during
next to
the God
Blackbeard.
Valley, like attack.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, she didn't walk up to Dragon, like she was near Blackbeard, and the scene kind of directed towards her and Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Well, she uses his name as well. She knows his name is like Teach, so I mean, it's just implied that that's like
Yep.
her son.
I knew that, but there was something in my head that was thinking that. Don't even
But-
worry about it.
But specifically, she says, "My kids,
Yeah,
don't let
that's
them
kinda-
take
Right.
them."
Yeah.
Or don't let
Yeah.
him specifically. Don't let him take them. So the question is, who is she referring to? And
Yeah.
you know, I don't think this is gonna happen. There's a potential that maybe it's like a twist reveal that she's talking about rocks, right? I don't think so, but maybe there's someone else. Yeah, I'm just saying that as like a twist, but maybe it's probably one of these celestial dragons or Garling or something like that. I don't know, because she specifically
no,
says
that's a
don't let
solid
him
point.
take them. So, which is kind of interesting in terms of how that can be interpreted.
Interesting.
That's
But yeah,
true.
But I don't know, dude. It's just one of those things where, like, I think this whole Shocky thing feels forced. I think Oda was like, okay, let's just throw Shocky in here. You know, we'll just use her as like, and somebody had mentioned this in our comments, but we're like, oh, let's just use her like a Helen of Troy kind of character, which this isn't
Yeah.
really that, to be honest, because technically in Helen of Troy, the myth is she basically left her husband for another man and then sparked this whole war. That's obviously not what happened. She just basically got kidnapped.
But like it's still all over a damsel that is
Sure.
like causing this to happen. If she wasn't stolen,
Yeah.
Roger would not be going there with this kind of like insanity that he is.
Sure, but I
Yeah.
guess like the focal point of like the Helen of Troy story is like she was so beautiful, and I get obviously there's parallels, but like she caused a war between 2 parties because
She was
let's
so
say,
beautiful.
because they both wanted her or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think in this
Similar.
particular case, like Rox doesn't actually want Shocky, right? Like he wants his family, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then Roger really kind of, I guess, wants Shocky for the sake of maybe Rayleigh or something. Either way, I think there's a little too much attention being paid to Shocky right now. It's like, I don't know. You can tell me like again and again, oh my gosh, she's so bad, and like everybody loves her and everybody's gooning over her or whatever. But like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just looking at like a well-drawn character, and it's like
Yeah.
really not that serious. But anywho,
No, I agree. Yeah, I think that it's fine to use it as a plot point. At the very least, it helps to bring relevance as to why we spent the last 2-3 chapters talking about Shocky, right?
Yeah.
Because if this whole God Valley incident happened and she was just chilling back at a bar somewhere, that would be very anticlimactic, and it would invalidate the time we spent emphasizing her character. And so the fact that
Yeah.
she was used as a prized possession in this case is very validating for that. And I'm not mad at it. It is just one of those cases where it's just like, okay, what next? It's fine that we have it. I think the biggest reveal is those smaller 2 panels, right, with Teach and his mother, and also Dragon being the one to discover them in the midst of this emerging chaos. And so that's going to be something that I think comes back as like a really interesting plot point. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
but
the whole Davy thing, we have a lot to explore with.
but that's the thing that bothers me though. It's like I feel like sometimes Oda's just like bring all the characters in together. Let's just throw them in the same particular moment, right? And what I mean when I say that is like the Blackbeard pirates ran the Revolutionary Army off of their island, right? They ran them off of Baltigo. I think it's Baltigo. Or Tequila Wolf or wherever they were at. I think it's Baltigo. But anyways, they ran them off of their island and they had to reestablish themselves in Kamabaka Kingdom. It would have been a really interesting moment, and maybe again, Oda's just like didn't have this plan, or maybe he did and just wanted to wait for it or whatever. But it's like it would have been nice to have seen an interaction between Blackbeard and Dragon and recognize that they know each other, but not know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing that kind of bothers
Right.
me, where it's like we just kind of throw these things in the
Yeah, it's a missed
flashback.
opportunity.
And it's so interesting if we actually see it in the present storyline. We see the ramifications of that rather than, and again, this is why I'm like, Oda didn't have this plan. He just decided to do this and was like, okay, is this going to interrupt the story? No, they haven't really talked or interacted, so this should be fine. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, if we had seen that, that would have been such an interesting kind of like reveal. It's like, wait, how the hell does Dragon know Blackbeard, like on a personal level? And then we would have seen this and it
Right.
would have had so much more impact. But you know, missed opportunity.
I agree. I think that there is a difference between like open world storytelling versus like beginning with the end in mind, right? And I think that there are some expressions of those stories that we have grown fond of over the years, right? Like Attack on Titan is a really great example of like a story that began with the ending in mind. And I'm sure there were some things that Oda had in detail at the inception. But the thing about One Piece is that it is one of the longest epics in the world, right? And so naturally there is a lot of vacant space within the construction of its plot, right? Leading up to those culminating moments. And so I do think that that is why we end up in these scenarios where Oda is faced with this challenge to fill in a specific plot point that could have been validated earlier on had it been considered. But, you know, his world is so expansive and there's so many different things that he has to consider. And he's largely likely been focusing on the backbone of what it is that he wants to articulate with this story. And so he might have an incredibly grand ending in mind that he has had in his mind for the last 20 years. But many of these details have to be fleshed out along the way. And we really start to feel the repercussions of that in this kind of final arc as things are intended to come together. He's coming to that realization that, oh, wow, like there are plot points here that are kind of relevant to the culmination of what I'm trying to present here. And so in a way, he has to kind of like backfill and to your point, come up with certain things on the spot or as the story is progressing in order to get us to that point.
So yeah, I mean, he's improvising, and I don't have a problem with improvising. Like, I think obviously, you know, creating the 11 Supernova, that's improvising. It's interesting, and it really creates a dynamic story. My issue is really kind of less so with Oda, is more so like the fucking rabid fans who like, Oda had everything planned from the start. You don't understand. He had this and that, and like there was like a picture on the wall that actually really kind of foreshadowed this. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. No, he didn't. He is clearly improvising this shit as he goes along. He fucking didn't. It's okay if he didn't. It's like obviously he's trying to make this story as seamless as possible, but like some of this shit as you're reading it, you can tell. And to be honest, I love Bleach. I love, you know, Tite Kubo. He did the exact same shit, which is like, I'm just gonna kind of make it up as I go along and like, you know, think really deeply. Okay, is this going to affect the story in a negative way? Am I creating a plot hole? No. Okay, then I'm just going to put it in. And but you know, to your point, you miss moments where it's like, dang, like, you know, this interaction, knowing what we know now of the history of these characters or the relationship or whatever, it should have actually been a little bit more impactful. It should have been like this, or like had we seen them interact or whatever, but we didn't. Yeah. I mean, I feel like for the most part we can wrap this one up. We kind of hit the main points. Shaki, you know, the Celestial Dragons being assholes. You know, like all of the things.
Moogie.
Okay, yeah, please go, Moogie.
Sorry.
Please proceed.
It's really relevant to what you guys were just talking about.
No,
do you
go
guys,
ahead.
do you guys remember how many prizes were on God Valley?
How many
11?
prizes?
Yeah.
I thought it
Was
was
it?
2 devil fruits.
2 devil fruits,
So previously
Shocky.
they had like the treasure chests in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
In previous chapters, there was 6. In this one, there is 9. So they added 3, and it actually is going to matter a lot because that's going to be like those are all prizes. That's all theory stuff right there, and like
Yeah.
people are going to
Yeah.
be thinking about what those extra 3 are. But that was just like an inconsistency that was just clear as day right when we were right from the go, like something in the background. And I just think that is
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
There
But
was a panel about Kaido and Big Mom talking about the devil fruits and the prizes and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't necessary to re-emphasize. I feel like they've had that conversation about 3 times.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did
Maybe
you guys know
something
Kaido
crazy's
was looking
gonna
for
happen.
devil fruit? Hey, did you guys know? It's like,
Oh,
like,
by the
yeah.
way,
It's like we
Kaido's
get it.
looking for a devil fruit, and Big Mom's gonna help him.
Yeah, it's like we get it, guys. Okay, let's wrap
Tie
this
in
one
some
up.
Loki stuff.
all right.
We got another one, but yeah, no, Loki is definitely. I mean, the whole thing was supposed to be about what happened in the throne room. We get a little bit of Harold. Actually, let's just cap this off real quick. We get a little bit of Harold. He's kind of just a dick for no reason. Again, it's like
I
you
hated
take
that
this
part.
time to like demonstrate he's got a conscience. He's trying to prove that he's got a sense of humanity, right? Like he's trying to advocate on behalf of the Giants. But then you have him basically turn into a fucking turncloak. Right.
They've already established they have a bro
Like-
relationship.
And he's like willing to attack his friend and kill him, try to at least, or at the very least stop him on behalf of the world government, who he has literally witnessed killing innocent civilians. It's like, dude, like,
That was a weird.
You
word
suck.
to start. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, you fucking suck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I thought he would do something like, you know, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to, you know, act like I'm holding you off. But in reality, like, I'm just stalling for time. And, you know, you guys, like, go ahead. This nigga just got his ass whooped by, like, a fucking crew of humans. And was like, like, rocks, you bastard. It's like, dude, like, you suck. You're a giant. You got whipped by a pirate crew of humans. And you're a fucking turncloak.
And what was
All
all
right,
that
so-
relationship building for? Like they
Yeah,
were
I know,
supposed to be
right?
best friends. Oh, I'm gonna fight you. Okay, we fight. Like it was
I mean,
so
I
bad.
literally think, I mean, unless there's like some kind of revelation where like Rox dies at God's Valley, Harold is like, oh my God, you killed my friend. I'll never work with you guys. And like, that's the turn. And then he rips off his horn or something like that. Maybe. But like, Harold is becoming one, extremely irrelevant in this arc, right? And then two, it's like, I mean, was this really just supposed to be about Loki's exposure to rocks? Because we didn't even really get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, I don't know.
We
Anyways,
got a little bit of it, but
the Giants are becoming, like, you know, pun intended, dwarfed by Rocks, by Roger, by Shocky, by, like, the rest of them in their own flashback. It's actually pretty
Garling.
fucking crazy. In Garling, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that one
we don't know
moment-
how long these flashbacks are gonna last too. Like, I don't see an end in sight. To be real with you guys,
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if
Sorry,
we
I don't.
if we don't go another 4 to 8 chapters on this flashback.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap this one up and then we'll get into the deeper conversation.
All right, y'all. Peace and
Okay.
blessings.
That's what she said. Deeper.
Party next door.
Why y'all like this?
Yo.
like
Okay.
this.
Hey, it's your boys, the Anime Parlay. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the flip side. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and give us money if you can. All right. Peace.